Hello and welcome back. As you can see, I'm by my piano ready to do another step-by-step tutorial. A number of you have contacted me or commented on related videos that you would love to know how to set up to do live streaming with your digital piano or keyboard. Live streaming has absolutely exploded over the last year or two, and the questions you have asked are about how to stream the sound of your piano or keyboard and voice, plus how can you enhance that with a virtual keyboard that highlights the notes you're playing and switch between multiple camera angles. So I'm going to show you how you can do all this step by step. Plus, it turns out that with the exact same setup and software, you could also record tutorials and presentations or performances on your computer, or even live stream and record at the same time. And this will give you a new superpower if you use conference software like Zoom, Skype or Teams to teach piano or do presentations from your keyboard. Why? Because you can use these enhancements and multiple cameras rather than just your regular webcam in your conference software too. One setup will let you do all this, and most of it is free. Interested? Stick around and I will show you how. I post regular videos on home recording studio setup, mostly aimed at beginners, and quite a few keyboard recording tutorials, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, then do subscribe if you want to be the first to see my new content as it is released. And if you enjoy this video, give it a like, that really helps me out. Now, let's have a look at my setup. I'm going to be using a Windows PC laptop and an Android phone. If you have a Mac and/or an iPhone, then the principles will be exactly the same. There are lots of ways to connect your phone to your computer and use it as an additional camera. I'll talk about how I've gone about it in a moment. I'll start with a quick rundown of the hardware, then look at the software you're going to need and how it all fits together. Firstly, the sound. I have a 2-channel audio interface here, and I'm going to record my microphone through one channel and my keyboard through the other. Most keyboards and pianos have a left and right line output, with the left channel being a mono output, so you can simply take the left output from the keyboard and connect it to the interface with a standard TS cable. My piano only has a mini TRS aux out, so I'm using this cable, which is a mini TRS to 1/4 inch TS that sums the stereo to mono. My microphone is an Audio-Technica AT2020. This is a very reasonably priced mic that's incredibly well reviewed, but you can use any mic you have. You'll see I have set it up on a stand with a pop filter. It's a side address cardioid mic, and I have tried to angle it so it will pick up my voice rather than the sound of my fingers on the piano keys as much as possible. You may want to use headphones to monitor the sound of your keyboard. In my case I'm not, because I can still hear the sound of my piano through the speakers, and I'm not worried in this context about the microphone picking up the sound from the speakers, as it's all going to be blended together. Secondly, MIDI. I also need to get a MIDI output from my keyboard so that I can display the virtual keyboard. I have a USB MIDI interface for this. I could alternatively use the MIDI ports on my audio interface. Most modern keyboards and pianos actually have a USB MIDI connection built in, so it's even simpler. Simply hook up with a USB lead. If you're confused about MIDI versus audio or want more detail, then I have plenty more detailed videos and blog posts on keyboard connection, which I'll link to below. Thirdly, the cameras. To get up and running quickly and try all this out, I'm going to simply use my mobile phone to get an overhead shot of the keyboard and my built-in webcam for the main presentation view. This means you can try all this out for free and see how it all works. Once you've done that, you may want to upgrade your camera setup, and I'll talk about that at the end. I'm connecting my phone directly up to my PC with a USB lead, and I'm using the DroidCam app to make the connection. You install the app on your phone under Utility on your Windows machine. It's very straightforward, and the free version is excellent. There's no watermark or anything. It is possible to upgrade to a pro version for less than $5, and then you can get HD resolution and other enhancements, but I use the free version here just to show you can. You can use DroidCam on an iPhone too, but only with a Windows PC. If you are a 100% Apple person and want to know how to connect your iPhone to your Mac, then go and have a look at John Paul Music UK's channel. He has a few videos on different ways to do that. JP is a live stream ninja who I invited on my channel, and he has plenty of tips on how to get connected if you're in the Apple world. Now, once you have your iPhone working on your Mac, come back here to check out all the keyboard specific stuff. Fourthly, lighting. I'm I'm lucky that my piano is in front of a window, so I get quite a bit of natural light. I have set up a light over the keyboard, and you may want to experiment a bit with whatever lighting you have to hand. Right, let's go over to my screen and have a look at the software and work through the setup step by step. Let's start off with all the software you're going to need. So first of all, this is all going to be based around OBS Open Broadcaster software. It is completely free and you can get it for Windows, Mac or Linux. So you simply need to go to obsproject.com and download it. You can get lots of plugins for OBS. I have installed the OBS WebSocket plugin, which I'll link to below. This is useful because it enables you to use something like an iPad as a remote control. And that is useful if you're sat at a keyboard and you want to switch between scenes without having to lean over to your computer. So I'll show you how that works. Chordiapp is the app that I have downloaded to enable me to show a virtual keyboard where the keys light up and to show notes on the screen while I'm playing the piano. There are lots of utilities that do this. I liked Chordiapp because it works really well with OBS. It costs $25 and you can get it for Windows or Mac. And I'm using DroidCam. This is a utility you install on Windows and also you put an app on your phone. I've simply started the app on the phone, connected it up to my computer with a USB lead, and then I have positioned it above my keyboard. I've put my tripod on a box high above my keyboard with a phone holder pointing at 90 degrees, so it's just pointing straight down at my computer. So this is being filmed using my phone as an external camera. Obviously there's a lot of mess around here. I'm going to be able to get rid of that very easily in OBS. Now let's have a look at Chordiapp. Let's get this running before we start OBS. So this is the app that enables me to show the virtual keyboard and the notes. And if I just play something on the piano, you'll see that it's all working. What you'll need to do is go to the MIDI input menu here and make sure that your MIDI device is selected, or you can choose use all MIDI inputs and it'll use anything that it gets sent. This you do need to know about. You need to go to options and you need to switch to separate windows. This enables you to pick and choose which components you put into your scene. So I'll show you that in a bit. Now what I found is if I minimize this, then it doesn't show up in OBS. So leave the windows open like this and let's go to OBS and set that up. When you first start up OBS, it will run you through a wizard and help you get the settings more or less how you want them. And you can also go back to the auto configuration wizard here. At any time you can go to the settings either here or going File, Settings, and you can adjust what's going on behind the scenes if you find that it's not really working optimally. What I'm going to do is just quickly run through the settings I've got here. On the General tab, I have ticked this box to automatically record when streaming. I think this is a really good option because you start streaming out to the world, you also get a recording on your computer without having to think about it, and after that you can go and use it, edit it, share it elsewhere. If we go to the output, I have set this up with a video bitrate of 2500 kbps. I find that works okay with my internet connection. I've also upped the audio bitrate to 192. Some services like YouTube will cap the bitrate. I'm going to keep it a bit higher because then when I make my local recordings, I'm going to get good quality audio. The recording path for where your videos get stored, you can choose it here. I'm just keeping to the default. If we just quickly look at audio, I'm using a sample rate of 44.1 kilohertz and I'm streaming out in stereo and recording in stereo. Now I'll come back to the issue of channels later because I have got a 2-channel interface, but I've got 2 different inputs and we'll see how that can cause a problem later. Video, I am using a resolution of 1920 x 1080. That seems to work okay. If you find you're having problems, you might need to drop it down to 720. There we have it. That's all the settings. Pretty straightforward, and you can always go back and adjust them. Now, when you start up OBS, you have this blank canvas in front of you, and you might be thinking, whoa, where do I start with this? So the way OBS works, you have different scenes, and these you can switch between, so you can have different camera angles and different components in each scene, and you can very quickly switch between them, as you'll see. Each scene, you simply add all the sources that you want in that scene. So let's start and create our first one. I'm going to right click here and rename it. This is going to be my overhead scene. I've named it. Now all I need to do is find my sources. The first thing I'm going to do is add that overhead camera. That is a video capture device. So if I go here and call this my overhead camera, it's going to offer me choices, and as you can see, the top one happens to be the Droidcam source. I could choose my webcam here, hello, but I want this Droidcam. Now the first thing you'll say is, oh, it's upside down. Very easy to adjust that. If I right click and go transform, I can rotate by 180 degrees. So now it's the right way up. Now, as you see, it has little handles around it, and as I move them around, it resizes. Now what I'd like to do is crop out all this stuff behind. To do that, I simply hold down the Alt key, and then when I drag the handle, instead of resizing, it is cropping. So very straightforward, and what I'll do is I'll just adjust it all now and get it lined up. Okay, now obviously what you're going to do is spend plenty of time getting the camera set up and then adjusting this. Once you're happy with it, you simply lock it so that you don't move it again. Now we're ready to put that virtual keyboard on. So if I add another source, this is going to be a window capture. This lets you capture windows of software that you've got open. So in this case, it's going to be my virtual keys. Cordiat, because I split it into windows, has got several windows available. Now obviously I don't want the fretboard view. What I do want is the piano roll view. And there we have it. I'll just check it's working. That's the one. So all I need to do now is, like before, move it around, adjust it. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that, so I'll lock that into place. Obviously, I'm just doing this very quickly. Now what I'd like to do is show the notes that I'm playing. So again, I'm going to add another window. This is going to be the note view. And this time I'm going to pick, well, it's the manuscript view, it calls it. Okay, so I'm just going to crop and resize this and put it up the corner. Okay, that looks pretty good. I just want to make sure I can still see the note names as they come above the keys. Okay, I can, right, I'm happy with that. I will leave that locked into position. Right, now I'm going to add the chord names. Okay, lock that into place, and finally what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the webcam view of myself here. That is add, and this time it's another video capture device, but this is my webcam. Hello. Just adjust that down a bit. Okay, and I'll move that into that corner there. Can I still see the note names? Yes, I can. Okay, right, so quite happy with that. I'll lock that into position. So visually that scene is now complete. So I've got my real keyboard, I've got my virtual keyboard, I'm seeing notes, I'm seeing intervals, and I can see myself. So that is one view that I'm going to keep. The only thing I haven't got there is my audio capture. So I'm now going to add in the sound. So I go add audio input capture, and this is going to be my Focusrite interface. I've got a number of audio possibilities here, but I'm going to pick the interface. This is where I want to talk to you about channels. As you can see, my microphone is going into the left channel, and if you look closely, you'll see that the meter is jumping around to respond to my voice going into the microphone, but it is only on the left channel, and this is what it sounds like. It sounds very weird because the sound is going in one ear, because it's a left and right interface, and I've got two different things going in, microphone on the left and keyboard on the right. So we need to remedy this, and to do that we are going to go to the advanced audio settings, which you access here by clicking this gear icon and going advanced audio properties. Find your interface and tick the mono button like that, and then what will happen is it will stream the sound through the two channels equally, and that sounds so much better. And what it will do is it will blend my voice and blend the piano. Now, if you wanted to have a genuine stereo stream, then you wouldn't be able to do it with just a two-channel interface with the mic going in one channel and the keyboard going in the other. I'll look at the end at what you could do if you want a genuine stereo stream. While we're here, if you found that your video was not syncing very well with your audio, then here you can offset the audio by a few milliseconds, and that will help you marry it up. Okay, so this scene is now complete. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create my second scene, and this is going to be my main presentation scene. So let's start this up. A new scene, I'm going to call it webcam scene. Okay. Now, when you start a new scene, it's got nothing in it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a video capture device, and that's going to be an existing one because I've already used my webcam. So there we go. And what I can do here is I can right click, transform, and I can fit to screen. This is going to be the main presentation view to the world or to my recording. What I am going to do, as just to show you that I can, is I am going to add my logo to this. It's an image, so this is going to be my logo. You can browse for the image. Okay, now this logo has a transparent background, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to have a dark rectangle behind it, and I'm doing this mainly to show you how you layer things. As you can see, you can add all kinds of things to OBS. You can add browser windows, you can add text, you can add game capture, and so on. But what I'm going to do is add another image, and it's going to be background. Okay, now as you can see, it's hidden my logo, so you can always move components around. So I'm going to reorder it so the logo is on top, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this background a bit smaller, and I can go on the logo and just move it up a little bit. I'm not going to spend too much time. Okay, so if I'm happy with that, I will lock all this lot into position. Okay, so this is my main presentation view. All I need to do as well, don't forget, is add in that audio capture as before. It's going to be the same as before, so I'll just add that back in, and now we're getting the sound in there as well. I can easily switch between these scenes by leaning over to my laptop, and once I've selected one scene, I can use the arrow keys to switch, and so this is my main presentation view, and then when I'm ready to play, I can switch to this scene, and when I want to speak back to camera, I can do this. So it's pretty straightforward, but obviously I'm having to lean over to my computer to do that. While we're talking about scene switching, you'll notice that it is fading between one scene and the other. You can choose different ways of transitioning between the scenes here. I'm going to leave it on a fade. That's for you to go and have a play with, and I'm leaving the duration at 300 milliseconds. You can obviously change this. You can put little video stingers in, you could have a cut or a swipe, whatever you want. What I'm going to do now is I am going to turn to my iPad, and I'm going to set this up so that I can switch the scenes from my iPad, which is just going to sit here, and it's going to be so much more convenient. Because I've installed that plugin, all I need to do here is go to this web page, and I have already worked out what the IP address of my machine is, and I'll show you how I did that. If I go here to look at my Wi-Fi settings and I go to properties, then this will tell me the properties of my computer, and if I scroll down I can find my IPv4 address here, and that is what I need to input into this web page on my iPad. So I've inputted that in and I connect. I've set it up with a password. So I do that, and you can see, because I'm showing you the screen of my iPad now, that I can now switch between the scenes. So I'm currently on the overhead scene. I can easily switch to the webcam scene like that and back again. So now I am ready to use this software in anger, and there are three ways, as I said, that I can use it. I can use it for streaming, recording, or within conference software. Let's start with the streaming. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about how you do streaming because there's plenty of other information about that, but very briefly, I have set up a stream already on YouTube, and it's a private stream. And I suggest you do that in the first instance. Set up a private stream so you can play with this software, see how it looks, see how it all turns out. Once you have set up your stream in whatever service you want to use, so whether it's YouTube or Facebook Live, or whether you want to use a multi-streaming capability like Restream, they all have what's called a stream key, and you go and grab that from the service where you've set up your stream and you paste it in here. And once you've done that and you're all ready to go, you're ready to start streaming from within the software. Okay, and to do that you simply click Start Streaming, and as you can see it's started to stream. And at the same time it is recording, because if you see here it says stop recording, so at the same time as streaming out I'm getting that local recording. Now if I just wanted to record, then I would just have pressed the button that said start recording. It is that simple, and it immediately starts recording a video locally. I'm ready to begin my show. So hello and welcome to Jane's Piano Show. Now I was recently reminded of a brilliant quotation most often attributed to Claude Debussy, and that is that music is the space between the notes. Now I love that quotation, and I think it is very well illustrated in one of his most fabulous piano pieces, and that is Clair de Lune. So let's go and have a listen to the first few bars. And then you could continue to discuss or talk about what you've just played and so on. So there you go. That was Jane's Piano Show. Right, I'm ready to stop streaming and stop recording. So I'll simply do that. You can see how quickly I managed to set it up. The third thing I promised we'd have a look at is how to use it within something like Zoom or Skype if you are teaching. And that is very straightforward. We've got it all set up. All we need to do is start the virtual camera, and that's it. And now if I go down and start up the Zoom app, okay, if I start a new meeting, and this is the video source that I am using within Zoom now, okay? So if you were coming here for the first time, you go where it's got video here and you would choose OBS virtual camera. It is that straightforward, and then the view that you have in Zoom that you are sharing to your student or the people you're presenting to or having a conference with are seeing what you would see in OBS. And so you have your two views, and you can, if you're teaching or presenting, switch between your overhead view and your presentation view. And so this is a really nice way of making sure your pupils understand concepts that you're trying to teach. So for example, chords or pieces or whatever. And so all this is happening within Zoom. Just bear in mind that if you are using Zoom for music purposes, you should make sure that you can enable and then turn on original sound like that, so that when you're streaming out your music, it doesn't get chopped up by the noise suppression algorithms that are within Zoom. I've got a video all about that, which I will link to below. I promised to show you step by step how to set OBS up. It's pretty straightforward. Once you've got it all set up and you've got your audio working and your different scenes, then streaming, recording and using the virtual camera are really straightforward, and most of this is free. Now that I've shown you the basics of OBS setup for streaming and recording, there is definitely some room for improvement here. Firstly, you would want to really experiment with mic placement and also where you position your laptop. Because I was screen recording and talking you through this tutorial at the same time as setting everything up, I've had to compromise on this. It's actually quite a technical challenge to record tutorials of software in real time that use audio, so you should be able to improve on that. Secondly, I really believe in learning how to do this before you spend large amounts of money on camera equipment and so on, and I've shown you how to do do this for a minimum outlay here. Obviously, you'll get better quality if you use an external webcam, or you could use a capture card and a better quality camera. If you really want to stream in stereo, then you could run your inputs, your microphone and stereo outputs from your keyboard into a mixer, which you could then run through your interface. Or you could start with a USB mixer, which would double up as an interface as well. If you had a mixer with more inputs, you might even want to experiment with more than one microphone. Well, I hope you found that helpful. If you have any comments or questions, do post them below. I do love to read them all. And as you can see, it does help me decide what content to produce to help you out. If you have enjoyed this video, give it a like. That really helps me out. Visit my website if you want more detailed posts and articles. And finally, please do subscribe if you want to be the first to see my new videos. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye for now.